My mom, Allison Ramsey, runs an adult novelty shop. One day, I was so exhausted that I accidentally fell asleep in the storeroom. When I woke up, I found myself trapped in one of the store's newest demonstration beds. When Mr. Palmer from next door walked in, he mistook me for the shop's latest realistic mannequin and began to pull down my shorts. I'm heading out to pick up some new stock. Can you watch the shop for a bit? Mom's voice drifted over faintly. I mumbled something in response and sank back into a deep sleep. I had no idea how long I'd been out. When I finally regained consciousness, something felt very wrong. I was lying face down on a bed, my wrists fastened by soft but firm restraints. The bed itself had automatically adjusted into a fixed display position, perfectly molded to my body. My hips were raised, my legs parted, and I was held in an extremely embarrassing, completely exposed posture. A dark curtain had fallen over the front of the bed, covering my head and shoulders, leaving only my lower body presented. What the hell? Panic surged through me. I struggled hard against the restraints, but they didn't budge. It finally hit me. This was the brand new interactive display bed we'd just received. Once activated, it locked the user into a preset demonstration pose that could only be released from the external control panel. I'd been so tired that I'd simply collapsed onto the first bed I saw in the storeroom, never realizing it was the latest high-end model. I usually sleep on my stomach and move around a lot, so I must have accidentally triggered the bed's mechanism while dozing off. The restraints had now locked my wrists firmly in place. The lower half of the bed had automatically split and lifted, raising my hips high in an extremely embarrassing display position. It looked as though I had been arranged for a demonstration. What on earth was I supposed to do now? I shouted a few times, but no one answered. It was only then that I remembered Mom saying she was going out to pick up new stock and had asked me to watch the shop. Hey, Allison! Suddenly, Mr. Palmer's voice came from the doorway, growing closer with every step. Oh no. Mom had mentioned that Mr. Palmer would stop by later to settle his bill. Panic surged through me. I struggled desperately, but the soft-looking restraints refused to budge. Where is everyone? I told them I'd come by today to pay. Mr. Palmer's voice was now only a few steps away. Trapped in this humiliating position, my face burned with shame. I froze completely, not daring to make a sound. Is this the new mannequin that just arrived? His words made my heart leap into my throat. The next second, I felt a warm hand gently rest on my thigh, slowly sliding upward as though he were inspecting the doll. It was a sweltering day, and I had dressed lightly for sleeping at home. Thus, my hot pants were barely long enough to cover me properly. The texture feels pretty good. It's quite realistic and even warm, Mr. Palmer remarked as he ran his hands over me. The strange sensation made me clench my teeth tightly, too afraid to make even the slightest sound. If anyone found out I was being mistaken for a new mannequin, I would never be able to show my face again. But to my horror, I then felt his hands gripping the waistband of my hot pants and beginning to pull. Chapter 2. Because the hot pants were already very short, and I had loosened them for comfort while sleeping, they could be easily pulled down with almost no resistance. I didn't expect it to feel this real. This new batch of dolls is incredible, Mr. Palmer said, his voice full of excitement. He was leaning over me from behind. I could clearly feel the heat of his breath against my skin as he spoke. My heart was pounding with a mixture of panic and shame. I didn't dare move a single muscle, terrified of the overwhelming embarrassment that would follow if I were discovered. What should I do? What on earth could I do? Mr. Palmer had already pulled my hot pants all the way down, leaving only my thin underwear. It even comes with underwear, and it has lace trim too. His voice grew more and more excited. He continued to stroke and examine my raised backside, the warmth of his hands making my heart race uncontrollably. Suddenly, I felt something warm, soft, and damp press against the back of my thigh. Was that Mr. Palmer's mouth? In that instant, it felt like a bolt of lightning shot through my mind. Realizing what was happening, I was instantly overwhelmed by shame and panic. Yet for some reason, a faint, inexplicable thrill also stirred deep inside me. My rational mind screamed at me to speak up immediately and stop Mr. Palmer, but another voice inside my head desperately warned me not to. If he realized I wasn't